So there we are. Let's go into their societal structure. Pretty simple. Go ahead.
I mean, their society structures are they're not super social, but when they're born, they're a baby, A pretty fun fact as a baby, when the egg is laid, they're instantly alive. They're actually just alive in the egg, and they just hatch immediately.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
So
the whole egg is like a metaphor about like becoming, like giving, like having birth, but they were always alive when the two parents,
Well, I don't think they instantly hatch necessarily. I think it can be like an Aragon situation where they wait in the egg for like a time if there's a reason to.
They don't have to hatch immediately, but when the egg is laid, they are alive.
Okay.
Like they are conscious.
So no abortion arguments out here. No pro-life arguments.
None of that.
Pro-choice arguments. They are
alive. They're sentient. They know what's going on. All right. If you were trying to abort Couatl, it would be like, what the heck are you doing? The egg would be like shaking. It would just
stop you. Yeah, it would start rolling away.
Yeah, the egg just like trying to roll away. But so basically, their society structure, when they are born, they normally stick with their parents for like a century, or they grow to maturity about like 30. When they turn 30, they're like an adult, and they have a choice of staying with their parents for another century to learn more from their parents, or go and explore and find their duty. Most Couatls stay with their parents, and they learn, because that's what they want to do. So that's kind of like the biggest social grouping of Couatls, unless they're doing something for that parts of their duty, that what their mission is, that involves more Couatls. So that's what I kind of found on the social structure of Couatl.
You're saying why they reproduce?
Well, the reason why they reproduce is that, like, they can sense when they die centuries before. They don't know how, but they're like, I'm going to die in the next 200 years. And if it's like, I'm going to die very soon, they're going to try to find a mate. And
if they haven't fulfilled their duty, then they will say, well, if I'm going to die before I fulfill my duty, or it just needs to still be guarded, then I need to go get a baby and train it to do my job. So when I die, it'll still get done. Yeah. But if they don't have a duty, they've already done it, and they're just traveling, they'll accept their fate usually.
Yeah, like, actually people find like, oh, like, how do Couatls die? Like, do they get slain? It's like, well, people, like, they don't have to eat, drink, or literally breathe for centuries. But they can die from, like, diseases and being stabbed and just general things. Like, that they'll die of old age. When the time comes, they'll die. So, I mean, we actually don't know how long they live.
Yeah.
So, like,
it might be more of a will or a choice. Maybe they just, like Uguay style,
No. the ultimate. No, that's how you lose quote. No, no.
Yeah.
My time has come. And it looks at the little Couatl. The little Couatl looks up. He's like, "What? No, master, no." And he turns into petals.
Petals.
No.
Take this peach, or whatever he said.
Freaking.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so Couatls are Uguays.
Oh my god.
They're not quite as majestic as Uguay.
Well, Uguay is something else. We'll take an episode on how to make an Uguay character.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we'll get there.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so societal structure. So, in general, they are solitary. If you find one, it'll probably be by itself. But it can also go in pairs. So, obviously they reproduce, but they are very sentient things. So, if they like each other, they'll spend time together.
Yeah.
And then they can also go in flights of 3 to 6. That's what is said about them. I mean, if you wanted them to be in greater number, they're very sentient. So it's like, if they wanted to spend and be in a big community, I don't see why not. But it just typically doesn't.
I mean, every Couatl's different, so you might have that loner dude,
Right. Well, most of them are that loner dude.
Yeah, I mean, most of them are the loners, but there are some that like people. And they'll even chill out with, sometimes, very rarely, when I say very rarely, they'll chill out with other creatures.
Yeah, actually, that's what when I say they're solitary, I'm talking in relation to other Couatls. But you could easily find one just living in a village. Yeah, now, you may not know it, but, they might just be the blacksmith trying that out for a couple hundred years.
Yeah, I know. I mean? Just, chilling. Just, all right, this is kind of cool. They're social creatures.
My job is to guard this magical hammer. I might as well just be using it. you know,
just be a blacksmith making some like, good swords.
Yeah.
No, that would actually be very cool. Like the little town keepers of Couatl this entire time.
Like, man, that town keeper is extremely wise and quite beautiful.
Yeah, I know. It's like man, like he freaking like he's like a counselor over here. Like he's just some random town keeper, just a counselor, just chilling. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can find them in other creature societies.
Yeah,
because they are curious in that way. But yeah, that's about it on their societies.
On their society structure. Next is enemies and allies. Pretty simple. Probably one of the most simple ones. There are allies, anything good. There are enemies, mostly bad things.
If it doesn't mean it again. If you're good, it has a duty, and that duty comes first. So if you are gonna jeopardize that duty in some way, even if you're good, it's not gonna be cool with that, and it won't let you. Right.
I mean, it won't see you as a sworn enemy. It's gonna think like, oh, you're just being dumb right now. Like,
but if you are evil, then it will, in a way, see you as an enemy.
It will.
It's like you are against everything I am for.
Yeah.
So it's like they are defenders of good. Now that doesn't necessarily mean attackers of evil, but it means they're not. They're enemies. Like definitely enemies.
Yeah, like they don't. Couatl's not gonna like you if you got the purple aura.
Yeah. So they're pretty black and white in that sense.
Yeah.
If you're either good or you're bad to them.
Yeah, kind of like and see, that's kind of one of the flaws with, like, the good thing is they don't go on, like, crusades, like other creatures, like angels and metallic dragons, because there are those times where, like, the good being is like, oh, that evil warlord's in that village with all those people, I'm gonna burn it to the ground, make sure he's dead. But it's like, what about all those good people? Oh, gotta stop evil,
Yeah.
Crusades. For the crusade, puts on his little metal helmet and just flies out,
Yeah, it would be rainbow colored. But but yes, so they're
I mean, Couatls don't do that though.
If you're evil, they're your enemy. If you're good, they're your ally. Unless you're going against or asking them to go against their duty.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, even if you're good, they wouldn't think of you as an enemy. They would think like, oh, like, why are you being dumb right now? Like, dude, like, what are you doing? Kind of like a friend argument or family argument. That's kind of like what they would think of if you're good and you go against them.
It's like, oh, they're misguided.
Yeah. Like, literally, they take pity on you.
Like, it's like, okay, listen, you're wrong. Just please leave. But I understand you're good, so I'm not gonna I'll just make you go to sleep if that's what I need to do.
And honestly, they actually don't really like killing too. Like even on evil.
I mean, if you look at their stat block, they're super high defense, right? Super perceptive, and most of their attacks are about causing them to be unconscious. Like that is. Like what? That's like the nicest. Like they're made to not want to hurt you, right? They're made to just be able to neutralize you and not let you do what you want to do in a way that is not harmful to anyone.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what they're made for.
Yeah. So is there anything else about enemies or allies?
No, I think it's pretty simple.